Hi guys, it's Janice. Today we have the book Little Miss Late. Little Miss Late. Late for this, late for that. Little Miss Late was always late for everything. For instance, do you know where she spent last Christmas? At home. Early Bird Cottage. But do you know when she spent Christmas? 25th of January, 1 month later than when Christmas should have been. For example, do you know when she did her spring cleaning at Early Bird Cottage? In the summer, 3 months late for spring cleaning. For instance, do you know when she went on her summer holiday last year? Summer holiday in December, 6 months late. Early Bird Cottage was just along the road from where a friend of hers lived, Little Miss Neat. Little Miss Neat was out for an evening stroll last October when she looked over the hedge of Early Bird Cottage. Miss Late was in the garden. "Hello," called out Little Miss Neat. "What are you doing?" Miss Late replied, "I thought I'd cut the grass." "I think," remarked Little Miss Neat, looking at the grass, "that you should have thought about that last April, 'cause the grass are far too long now." "Tell you what," suggested Miss Neat, "let's go shopping together tomorrow." Miss Late agreed. "Good idea. I'll meet you in town on the corner of Main Street tomorrow afternoon," said Miss Neat. 2:00. "I'll be there," replied Miss Late. The following afternoon, Little Miss Neat stood on the corner of Main Street at 2:00, waiting for Miss Late. She waited and waited and waited some more and waited. Finally, Miss Late arrived. Sorry, I'm a little bit late," she apologized. "Sorry?" cried Miss Neat. "A bit late? It's 5:00 and all the shops are shut." "Sorry," said Miss Late. "That's what happened all the time." It happened when Miss Late decided to take a job. Her first job was in a bank. But the trouble was, by the time she arrived for the work, the bank had already closed for the day. Every single day. "Sorry," she said. They asked her to leave. It happened in her second job as a waitress in a restaurant. Mr. Greedy came in for lunch. He glanced at the menu. "I'll have everything," he grinned, because, well, Mr. Greedy. Twice! He was still waiting to be served at 7:00 for lunch. So he went home. "Sorry," said Little Miss Late. They asked her to leave again. It happened in her third job, working as a secretary for Mr. Uppity. "I'd like these letters typed before I go home," Mr. Uppity said to her. At the end, he went home at 4:00 in the morning. "Sorry," said Little Miss Late. He asked her to leave. However, as it happened, which is often the way of things, Little Miss Late managed to find herself the perfect job. She now works for Mr. Lazy. She cooks and cleans for him, cleaning his house every morning, cooking his lunch every lunchtime. Now, Mr. Lazy, being Mr. Lazy, doesn't get up in the morning like you and I do. He gets up in the afternoon. And like Little Miss Late, being Little Miss Late, is always late for work. So she doesn't arrive for work in the morning. She arrives in the afternoon. And Mr. Lazy, being Mr. Lazy, doesn't have lunch at lunchtime like you and I do. He has lunch when it's dinner time. And so you see, it all works very well. Very well indeed. Last Friday evening, the telephone rang in Early Bird Cottage. Little Miss Lade had just arrived home from work. It was Mr. Silly on the telephone. "I've been given some tickets for a dance tomorrow night," he said. "Would you like to come?" "Ooh, yes, please," said Miss Lade eagerly. "Right," replied Mr. Silly. "I'll pick you up at 7 o'clock. Last Saturday, Mr. Silly walked up the path to the front door of Earlybird Cottage. He knocked. "Come in," called a voice from upstairs. Mr. Silly went in. "Make yourself at home," called Little Miss Lade from upstairs. "I'll be down in a minute." Well, when Little Miss Lade says she'll be down in a minute, how long do you think that'll take her? Oh, I have no idea, but good luck, Mr. Silly. Good luck waiting. That's Little Miss Lade for today. See you soon.